Hey y'all, what's up? So I had to come to y'all right quick. I'm just coming from my vocal lesson, and sometimes in my vocal lessons, me and my vocal coach just talk. And today I was extremely tired, and singing opera takes a lot of energy. So she was like, if you need to talk, just talk, because sometimes we just talk. And today we were talking about how, as a white woman, she doesn't get what black people go through, and it's like I get that. But I was still, I'm going to try to explain it to her, And we're talking, and she's explaining her point of view to me, and I'm explaining my point of view to her, that as black people, we're constantly having to prove ourselves in the back of our mind. We have to prove we're intelligent, prove we're smart, prove that, we're not stereotypical. Prove, we're just always trying to prove something, and always having to work harder and do things harder, just be more, and then still always being, worried of people thinking of you as angry black woman or ugly black woman, and just feeling like the ugly black girl. If y'all watch Being Mary Jane, you know what I mean? And I just explaining this to her, and there are certain things as a white woman that she recognizes about herself, that nobody's going to perceive her as being threatening, like they're going to perceive me as being threatening. And she will be able to get away with something that I can't, or my boyfriend can't. And, just talking and basically, just having this mutual respect for one another's experiences and opinions. And in that moment, I love her. She, I really do. I love her. She's such a sweet person. And whenever, like when you're a black person that lives in the South, whenever you find like a white person that is not like racist at all, and like just really a good person, don't think about it like that, you love them. You know what I mean? And I've been going to her for, I think, 2 years now. And she really is one of my favorite people, in this world, because of how genuine and how sweet she is, and how when I go in there with her, what we have in common is we're women, and what we have in common is we're little, and what we have in common is we sing, and all of these things that we have in common overshadow the fact that we're two different colors, and that our experiences tend to be different, and that some things were easier for her than they're gonna be for me, you know what I mean? But she still will sit there and talk to me and encourage me as a woman in her 30s that your 20s are hard, you know what I mean? And the same thing that a black woman in her 30s told me, your 20s are hard, but it's gonna get easier. Same thing she said to me. And it was just a moment that I lived for right then, because I just was feeling down today, and I didn't know why. You know what I mean? A lot of things go on. My work is stressful, seeing a lot of negative things, seeing a lot of sad things, just my own inadequacies as a person, trying to do things that I can't do, that's not in my power right now. And wondering the energy that I put out there with what I do and all of this type of stuff. And ultimately, I feel like I do the best that I can. I do the best that I can. And the moments that I feel free is when I'm on YouTube and I'm just a black girl giving my experience, my advice, my outlook. That's what I am. And on here, that is fine. Whatever is said. People get mad about it. People feel however they feel about it. But essentially, I still get to be me. And there are people who get that, people who understand that. And, working somewhere where you always feel like you have to prove yourself, not just because you're the black girl, because you're young, and, just having so many things like built up against you sometimes, and just always having to prove and excel in those situations is sometimes, man, you want to tap the fuck out. You want to tap out. And I never do. You know what I'm saying? There are moments when I can't fathom breathing another second, and I don't know how I'm gonna go on, because I am sensitive and manic depressive, and everybody wants to say it's bipolar. It's not. I get depressed easily, and sometimes without full warrant, in my opinion. Whatever it is, I just feel like it's something that I go through. And when I get on here and I talk about the things that I go through, talk about my life experience, talk about my moral outlook on life, so that I can help somebody else, even if that's through the guise of a ratchet ass reality show, that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm here for. And I find solace and peace in being me, totally me, saying how I feel, and not apologizing for it. I find peace in that. Regardless to, you know, what other people feel about me or say about me. And I know that y'all might think this because of what happened yesterday, you know, if you know about what happened, me getting into it with people, but that's not why. This, you know, really has more to do with this conversation that she and I were having, and about the things I've been seeing on the news, and, you know, just waking up with black skin and having to see how people react to you because of that. You know what I mean? Like, it's a fucking everyday struggle, man. And always trying to, you know, prove something, you know. And up there with her, the only thing I gotta prove is that I can sing. The only thing I gotta prove is that I practice. You know what I mean? And I love that. I love that. I love having that. You know what I mean? I love having somebody in this world that does not look like me, but that I relate to in my personal life. You know what I'm saying? Like, even though I pay her, it's still personal. You know what I mean? So, you know, something good has to come out of my experience. Whether I do, you know, eventually put out an album and sing, whatever it may be, I did that for me. You know what I'm saying? I experienced this because I wanted to, because I needed that, because I was trying to be better at something, and in that found a connection with somebody who otherwise I might not have. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with my job. Like, you know, it's like this little white chick at my job that I love her. Like, me and her are so, you know, much alike sometimes, and I love that. I love that I see myself in people that don't have my skin color. You know what I'm saying? And I wish that, you know, I think that she sees the same thing in me, and I think the same thing for the girl who works with me. But that's what I want out of all of this, man. I just want us to see ourselves in one another, and not always come from a defensive standpoint with one another. Women, black people, white people, all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Just try to look through another motherfucker eyes sometimes. You know, it ain't always an easy thing to do, but it's something you should do. You know what I'm saying? And what I do on my channel, like I was saying, I get on here with no makeup, and I'm showing y'all that this is how I look today. I'm not about to put on fucking pounds of makeup just so y'all don't see that I got a pimple right here, or I got a blemish right here, or, you know, I went home and was knocked out from working my fucking 8-hour job, so now my hair is a little messed up before I had to come here. I don't want to be perceived as somebody that's not real. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to have to put myself out to prove anything to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could feel like a bitch is beautiful anyway. I could feel like I'm smart anyway. I could feel like as much as I get on here and curse people out and say what I got to say about whatever they doing on these shows, I still, you know, am for women and you know, for people, period, doing better and being better. And you know, check myself more than anybody else. You better believe that. You better believe I check myself more than anybody else, and that's why I'm sensitive, and that's why I worry and overthink, because I was raised to check myself, and I don't see that in other people. And when I point it out, everybody, you know, that makes people uneasy. I make people uneasy, but truth make people uneasy, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not about to stop doing me. I'm not about to stop being me. I'm not about to feel uncomfortable in my skin because, you know, someone else can't relate to me. Fuck, my own siblings don't relate to me, and they the same color as me and grew up in the same house, and still, you know, I'm around them and I feel like I got shit on my shirt because I feel like they look at me as less than they are. You know what I mean? Like, that's something I deal with too, but I don't think that's a good enough reason to change being me. I like me. I like me. I think everybody should, you know, look at themselves and find something that they like about themselves. And my honesty and my being a warrior and a sensitive person, and I feel like having a big ass heart, you know, contrary to what other people may think, I know that about myself. You know what I mean? And I just sometimes wonder if that shows through with what I have to do sometimes, or what I say when I'm being funny, or what I'm saying when I'm ribbing somebody, because I'm from New Orleans and that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So it's always a struggle trying to prove something to people. You know what I mean? And when I cannot, me trying to prove something to somebody, man, I find some fucking peace in that. So sometimes don't try to prove shit. Just say what you gotta say, do what you gotta do, and keep it fucking moving. Alright? I love you. I really do. And the only reason I made this video is because I know that when I look down in the comments a couple of hours from now, somebody gonna say they needed to hear this. And that's gonna make me feel comfortable, and that's gonna make me feel okay with saying what I said and opening up the way I did, because somebody else felt like that and didn't get the opportunity to say it, you know. So like, comment, subscribe, share, holla at me.